Seems to be all working okay. Give that a minute or so. Oh mate, I don't get nervous before gigs, but I definitely get nervous.
Yeah.
Hello people, how's it going? Hope it's all good where you are. Let's turn this down first of all. Welcome, hello, good evening. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's keeping safe and sound wherever you are. Sticking in the studio, making loads of tunes and all that. All good stuff, all good stuff. So yes, good evening, welcome. My name's Paul Nolan. If you don't already know who I am, if you haven't joined us for one of these things before, welcome. This is MYT. We're a artist development platform and a great place to learn how to take your music to the next level. And during this lockdown, we have made a commitment to try and basically do everything we can to help you get through it in one piece, which means me calling on some of my friends who are in the industry and are basically doing very, very good. And yeah, tonight, as you know, we have a very special guest with us and we shall introduce him without much further ado. So here we go. Here he is, Mr. Chris Costigan, Mr. Cristoph himself. How are you, mate?
I'm good, pal. You?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm not too bad. I'm getting there, mate. I'm getting there. How's lockdown life treating you?
You know what it is, mate? Everyone's asking us the same question. I mean, it's starting to get a bit tedious now, but it's even when you speak to the team, we'll all say it's just like being on tour, apart from you don't get the gigs at the end of the week.
Yeah.
So like living that hotel life where you are just in those four walls as such, unless you go out for a walk. or go down to the hotel gym or something like that. You know what I mean? You are in the room a hell of a lot. So just battling through a lot of music, mate. Just trying to write as much as I can, but I'm not putting myself under any sort of ridiculous pressure. I can't be bothered with that. And this week I've just woke up and for some reason I'm just so like unmotivated. I've just kept on falling asleep. Normally I'm up at 6 o'clock. And I'll be up all day and I'll be working and I'll do this and I'll do that. Then I'll go to bed at about 10, 11 o'clock and then that's a perfect day. But I think maybe it's because I had a drink on the weekend or something like that and it's just wiped us out.
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. It's weird because like for me, it's kind of gone in fits and starts really. Like I get like a week or so where I'm just like absolutely killing it. And then like I'll just get days when I'm just like, oh God, I can't even be bothered getting out of bed.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's hard. A lot of my friends them do like a lot more manual labour and stuff like that. So them are just, I can feel the pain all the time and they're away from the wives and the kids quite a bit. So I think back under one roof, I'm sure there's a few of them close to being on a murder charge.
Well, I heard a thing the other week and it was dead funny. It said like there was about 150 divorces filed in China when their lockdown finished.
Surprised, yeah. I think a few of them have been like, the divorce court's still open at the minute and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The birds seem to be like, zip it. Well, I'm not in that position, so it's all good, mate. But I can see, I mean, it's just living out of each other's pockets and stuff like that, man. It's hard work, and I mean, Newcastle's not the most affluent of areas anyway, so those with gardens are lucky, you know. Like, there's people who live in high-rise flats with a load of kids and stuff like that, you know what I mean? They can only go out once a day and stuff, and some of them, maybe they've got a 1-year-old who's teething or something like that, and maybe someone who's 4, and it's just, I couldn't deal with that life, mate. Like, it's just, I feel really sorry for them, mate. I really do.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? It's really tough. And you know, I mean, it's a funny one because, like, I've mentioned this on a few occasions, like, but I've actually got a couple of friends of mine who live in China, in Shanghai.
Oh, right.
And they're English, like, they're Scousers, like. And they literally have
Scousers, don't you?
Everywhere, mate. Everywhere, every corner of the globe. Oh, absolutely, mate. Absolutely, without a doubt. So yeah, basically, like, you know, they've been through everything that we're currently going through, and you know, it's one of those things. It's like it's a silver lining because like they're through the worst of it now, and they're almost back to normal now. You know, barring one or two things, but their lockdown was brutal, mate. I mean, like there was like parts of it where you couldn't even like. You weren't even allowed to go food shopping. Like the government were like delivering food to you.
Mate, I don't watch the news or pay, like, you know what I mean? It's not that I don't pay attention to what people are saying. I would rather just be told, right, that's lockdown lifted and stuff like that, because I'm not educated enough to sit there and pass any sort of opinion or judgment on what we're getting told. And I just think, right, them are the experts, them tell us what to do, and you just got to sit by and obey by what them are telling you until you get released on those nightclubs again, and then it's like lose your mind again. So
mate, that's the way to do it. And to be honest, mate, it's one of those. It's like I'm cursed with it because, like, you know, I've studied it and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like I keep getting like sucked in. I keep getting sucked into it, little, like, you know, God, when it first all kicked off, mate, I was just like ranty Twitter man for like 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? And then like I literally just woke up one morning and just went, oh my God, I feel awful. Yeah. I feel like shit. Like, have a word with yourself. This is not you.
Nah, mate, you've got to just be. I always just think in these situations, just heads down and never say anything. As I say, mate, I'm just not educated enough in this field to even pass judgment or give an opinion, so I just keep my head down and just do as I'm told type of thing. It's one of those things, and I mean the whole world's going through it, so it's not just like our country or our industry or something like that. And I guess it's just an area where we've all got to try and pull together and just like be as one type of thing and get through it. And then once we're through it, support everyone the best we can to make sure that there's no one falling by the wayside or anything like that. You know what I mean? There's like, if you just talk about our industry, I mean, there's probably be some promoters who are really going to struggle. So You know, like if someone comes in and just wants to book me or whatever like that, we've said, look, we'll just go and do whatever. I'm leaving all that up to the team just to order me where I'm going, just like you're off there or you're off here and sound.
Yeah. So like one thing I was interested in, I was going to ask you about was, you know, what it must have been like to like just see the diary just empty so quickly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, mate, like I've got we're all linked into this iCal thing. So Rene, who's part of the team, he puts everything in.
Yeah, I know Rene very well. He's great.
The other day, and he was just sat there, and he must have had nothing to do, so he was deleting everything out. And obviously, you've got to accept that it's deleted, so you press an OK. So there's this list of gigs, and you just say like goodbye. So now it's just, I think Earth Day, which is today. That's the only thing I seem to have in for a while, which is obviously already in there by like iTunes or whatever. It's mate, it was horrific to watch. But as I say, it's not just us who's suffering. Do you know what I mean? It's the world over. So what can you do? What can you say? It's one of those things, mate. You know, it's just something that you can tell grandkids, I guess.
No, that's the thing, and it's a problem. You know that you know, I think we get so wrapped up, don't we, in ourselves, and you know how it's affecting us, and it's one of those rare situations actually where like the entire world is in it together right now.
Definitely, mate.
You know, so yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see what it's going to be like when things start to like inevitably open back up again, and you know what kind of changes it's going to have on the industry. And to be honest, I think it actually might have a lot of positive impact on the industry in a weird way.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. I really do. I really do. I'm just buzzing off seeing all the memes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, this is me when the clubs reopen and stuff like that. And it's kids are sprinting like across it. Brilliant, man.
Yeah, well, like that
always wins in these situations.
Oh, mate, the internet is undefeated on that, mate, in a big way. Yeah, like that's just what you were saying there about this is going to be me when the raves reopen. It reminds me. Did you ever see that video of when the Slam tent opened in Glasgow and it was like
all the kids just sprinted in like that. Brilliant, that one.
Mate, yeah, that's what it's going to be like. That's what it's going to be like. First day back at school, do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be mega. It's going to be mega. And that's the thing, I think what it's going to do, it's going to, like, I think it's going to have a lot of really positive effects because it's going to make us really appreciate what we do have. Yeah. And it's also, as well, I think it's going to actually create a lot of opportunities for artists to come forward who may necessarily would not have previously got opportunities. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities.
You know what it is? I was saying it to someone the other day. Like, obviously, I give up anyone who asks for my email on socials or something like that. I just say to them, look, there's my email. Send these people links so I can listen to it in the studio because try not to download and bog the computer up in here. But I listen to every single thing that I get sent. And some of the music which has come through in this time, man, it's been amazing. Do you know what I mean? From kids who I've never heard of or anything like that. So, you know, it's going to put, I'm hoping it's going to put a lot of people who you class as maybe a bedroom DJ or bedroom producer or something like that. It's going to put them on the map, you know what I mean? It's because you're going to, hopefully their music's going to land in the right hands and you've listened to it and you've enjoyed it in this time. And we've never had the chance to play it out. And now that we can go and play all this music out, you're going to find some of the bigger ends support some of the smaller artists, you know what I mean? And it's going to be great, I hope, and really strengthen the industry. Like, I always believe in helping as many people as I can out anyways, because I'm in it for not personal glory, to strengthen the industry and make sure that the music which is coming through is a constantly good standard, you know what I mean? That's what you want. Because even when I'm not in a club playing, if I'm back in Newcastle, all my mates and everyone else harping me, let's go, let's so. If there's a DJ on, I'll go and see them. And if I'm listening to belting music all night, all it's going to do is influence me to write a better track or give me better ideas or something like that. So I'm just praying that's how it all works out. You know what I mean? That in the end, that it's really going to strengthen it.
I think it is because we did a big track feedback session on Sunday with Nick Muir from Bedrock.
Yeah.
And literally me and Nick were sat there. I mean, we went nearly 3 hours, just like listening through people who'd sent us tracks just so they could get feedback.
Yeah.
And honestly, like every single one of these tracks was signable.
Yeah.
Like they just needed little things here or there. They were awesome.
Yeah. It's going to be brilliant, man.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
No, it really is. Like the level.
I think a lot of them will be sending stuff onto labels, and I mean, if anyone out there who's listening has sent something on to a label recently, I'm telling you from experience, and that when I'm sending music on during this time, they're extra fucking slow, do you know what I mean? They're probably sat there, like, playing on COD like I've been doing and getting hammered on that. So it's like, I wouldn't worry if you're not getting an answer type of thing, because they will get back to you in time, but they're just extra slow. They've got to, you know what I mean? You've got to understand that these are probably working from home, and they may have a partner and a child who they're kind of trying to homeschool in all the situations and stuff like that. So, you know, like, they're all being extra slow. I think that's across every industry, though, because even like the housing industry, I've got things like, I've just moved into a house and got little things which I need fixed, and then we're on the ball right up until lockdown got called, and then they've just not replied to an email. But I can't really go and start arguing with someone who's not picking up emails because they're sat at home. So it's just one of those things, isn't it?
Well, that's it. I mean, they can't exactly come around your house and fix your sink for you. Do you know what I mean?
I'll just let them in. No, I really just get in. So.
Everybody round Cristop's house. Social distancing doesn't matter.
Nah, man, I'm just joking.
No, exactly, mate, exactly. And you know, I can tell you from first-hand experience, and I can tell everyone listening and watching this, like, you know, you do go through everything, because I have never, in my own personal experience, when I've sent you stuff, like, you've never not replied, and you've never not listened, and you've never not had anything but, like, support and encouragement. So, you know, on a personal level, mate, thank you, because, you know, some of the tracks that I produced in the last couple of years, I probably wouldn't have done it without your encouragement, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, stories can give you that, like, go on, son.
Yeah, exactly. Although we might be at each other's throats, footballing wise, in a couple of years if this Saudi takeover business works out for you.
Oh, mate, it's funny this up here. I mean, it's funny watching like how many people actually dislike Newcastle and don't want to get it. Like, I was speaking to my brother yesterday, and Richard Keys is doing an interview. I think it was Andy Gray, and he's going on like, I really hope that, I wish it wasn't Newcastle who was getting bought over. And I was like, what's the matter with hairy hands? Do you know what I mean? He used to love him when he was reporting on, like, you know, when he was commentating on Shearer. Him and Andy Gray, like, had the biggest love for Alan Shearer ever, and now he hates her because I think he's tried to, like, back Ashley. When I'm just like, mate, it's not your team, and you've got no idea what Ashley's putting the city through. But I think, you know what I mean? Newcastle fans are getting a little bit too excited. It's still not done. And I've seen something today from a Qatar TV company are writing to the Premier League and all of our 19 Premier League teams that not to let us get bought over by the Saudis. And I think they're pumped maybe 500 million into the Premier League or something like that.
Yeah, I actually think it's the station that Keys and Gray are working for now. I think it's that beIN Sports.
Yeah, that's what it is, aye.
Yeah, that's why they're throwing Newcastle under the bus, because that's who pays them at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Right, well, we had to put up with similar. We've had to put up with similar in the last couple of seasons. Oh, God, anyone but Liverpool, they'll be unbearable. And it's like, I'm not being funny. When you win the league, that's actually what the championship is. You get to be unbearable to everybody else. That's the way it works.
My manager's hating the fact that you're about to win it, man.
Oh, really? Why is he a man? Is he? Or?
He's a Chelsea fan, mate. He's just like anybody other than Liverpool, anybody. But I was just like, look, these deserve it. Do you know what I mean? You can't deny that this season. He's been the best team in the league by far. And I think Newcastle and Scousers have got this kind of, it's like that working man area, isn't it, where football is your life and that's all you've been brought up on, and it's the biggest thing in the city and everything revolves around the football team. And like, you know, like Geordies will choose to buy a season ticket before they take a family on holiday and things like that. That's how much it means up there. It's been the same in Liverpool, but I just think there's a few too many Geordies getting a bit too excited, thinking that within a couple of years we're going to win the league. It's going to be I hope we get straight into Europe or something like that in a couple of seasons. That'll be excellent for the city and stuff. And European away trips through the week aren't the worst things to go on and all that.
Yeah, you'd be able to pick a few gigs up while you're there, you know.
I'll absolutely hammered, forgetting that I'm DJing or something.
Now that's the thing. It's like we very much learnt our lesson, like as a football club and as a kind of a support a few years ago, because obviously we got a bit carried away, and we started like the year we had Suarez and Brendan Rodgers was in charge, and we started celebrating 6 weeks before the end of the season, and it's just really funny watching it go 180, where it's like here it's like you aren't even allowed to like talk about it.
Yeah, I've got a few pals from down there, and they're very quiet on it. I think they're quietly confident, but we're all in this group, and there's one lad who's a Manxer. He messages offline, like to me, like in a different conversation to me, and he wants to wind them all up and stuff like that. And he just keeps on. He's just like, the only fair thing is just to start the league again. Do you know what I mean? Like scrap this one and like trying to get them a bite. But
brilliant, yeah. And Scousers do bite. We do bite.
More often than not, mate.
More often than not, mate. More often than not. Yeah. More often than not. But yeah, I mean, I know what it's like, because the WhatsApp banter is lethal. Because like, I'm in a group with some of our DJ friends, shall we say, who are all big Liverpool fans, as you can probably use your imagination to know who they are, and it's just lethal. It's absolutely lethal. I had to turn the notifications off on the group in the end, because I was getting no work done at all. Sat there just laughing at memes all day, and that kind of thing. So yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, it's dead funny. But no, I mean, hopefully it all works out, and hopefully we'll because I love that vibe between Newcastle and Liverpool, just as like not just sport wise, but like in the cities as well, like because they're so similar, and the backgrounds are so similar, and I think that's down to like, because your whole approach to the music industry, I think, is just fantastic, mate. I've got to be completely honest with you. I am going to spend the next couple of hours basically blowing smoke out of your arse. And basically, like, for me, like the fact that, you do it for, for very different reasons than what a lot of other people do it for. You know what I mean? You don't do it for the money, you don't do it for the fame, you do it for the love of the music, and you do it for helping people as well, which I think is amazing. And I think, does that like sort of come from your background in Newcastle, do you think?
I think so, mate. Yeah, I mean, like, as I said, Newcastle's not an affluent area or anything like that, and it's like my mum and dad had never brought up to be arseholes or anything like that. My dad grafted all his life for what he earned and stuff like that. My mum would stay at home. I mean, she'd done a bit of work and stuff, but the majority of the time for me growing up, she stayed at home or just worked part-time while my dad went out and grafted. So you're kind of grateful for what you get and what you work for. And my dad always used to drill it into our heads, where he used to say, like, no one's better than you, remember that type of thing. But, like, be grateful for what you've got, and you don't know who you're actually speaking to out there when you're having a conversation. And sometimes I think people come across as ignorant or arrogant when maybe they're just tired, especially on the road. Like, I've been asked many times about a DJ, like, what's he like? And I'm just like, he's always like, I find everyone really nice. And then it'd be like, he was a bit like this at this gig, or like that at that gig. And I'm just like, maybe the guy was really, really tired. But as I say, like, it was Sam from Copyright who told us, when I was first releasing on Defected, he just says, every chance you get, interact with, whether it be a fan, getting taken out for food somewhere or something like that, because you actually don't know what them can do, and you don't know who you're actually speaking to. But people pay a lot of good money to come and see you, to support you by buying your tunes, you know what I mean, by just different things. Like if I'm doing a sample pack, people will buy that, or whatever, pay to come to a festival, pay to come to a club. And them are the ones who are going to go away and speak about you. Now, if you come across as an arsehole, which I've worked my whole life not being one, you know what I mean? I don't think it's in my genes to be one, but I've made it such a purpose to never have anyone call me that type of thing, because I don't know. I think I'll get pretty upset if people thought I was that way, because I'll be like, they don't know the real me. Do you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. And of course I want to go out and help people, because I don't think it's amazing to see someone so happy at chasing the dream or reaching the dream or getting that step closer. And, like I've said it to a few people at times, like something to do with a track and how they may want to change this, whether it's just even just a little sparkle here or they need strength in the kick or something like that. And in 2 weeks later, 3 weeks time, they email me back saying, "Oh, look, like I've done those changes to that track, and I really want to thank you because I've got it signed." And you can feel the elation in the email, and that gives me like a real big buzz, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like that, knowing that you've helped someone be like happy is, I don't know what it is. It's just I really vibe off it a lot.
No, exactly, mate, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like it's what's at the heart of that, which I really love, and that's something that I always try and like, you know, put onto people is like, this game is about relationships.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's about building the right relationships with the right people. And like you're saying, like the context that you meet people in is so important because, you know, I mean, it's funny because, like, you know, I've become, it's weird. I mean, it's kind of, we're kind of similar in a lot of ways, right? And that's why we kind of get on, and we've had similar backgrounds and we've gone on to do similar things. We've gone on and we've worked with all of our heroes, right?
Yeah, I know.
Which is mad considering, you know, we're two, you know, working class shitheads from the north of England. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, we've both had those, and I think we've both texted each other over the years and gone, can you actually believe this is happening right now? Like, how weird is this? Like, you know, and it really taught me a lot, and you know, I was really lucky because I ended up like at a very early age. I ended up working at Cream.
Right.
And I was like doing the guest list, and then like I got put on like artist liaison, and then I was like doing production and, you know, making sure DJs were okay and stuff like that as well. And it was really interesting because it's like that taught me a lot about, you know, the circumstances that you meet someone, especially an artist, is very, very important. And, you know, say for example, like, you know, the first time like I met Sasha, I was like a hyperactive pain in the arse 17-year-old. Who shouldn't have even been in a DJ booth, and he's like, who's this idiot? And then, like, you know, the next time I meet him and I'm actually working at the club, and you know, I'm there with another great friend of mine, Lee Burridge, and Lee introduces me properly, and it's like, oh great, nice to meet you. And it's like, it's a completely different thing. And, you know, I always say to people, like, you know, look, you don't know what other people where they are in their head at that moment, or, you know, a lot of people forget, like, this is an amazing thing that we do, but it is a job.
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah,
as well, you know, and like, you know, you don't get.
You're very lucky to be working in what we would class as our dream job. Do you know what I mean? That percentage worldwide must be so small. If someone was to go around and take some sort of like a questionnaire, you know what I mean? Those who are actually working in that, so you know what I mean. You've got to be grateful for that. But yeah, you're right, mate. It is a job. Do you know what I mean? And like, you've got to understand that. One wrong move and one wrong action in this industry, you can lose everything you've worked your whole life to get. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely, and it's totally right as well. And, you know, obviously, I'm not going to go through sort of like specific situations with specific artists, but you see that happen. Do you know what I mean as well? And, you know, I'm always the one that, because like I do a lot of work in sort of like the mental health side of the music industry as well, and you know, I try with the things that I offer to other people, I try and make it more like a 360, so it's not just like, you know, push this button and turn that filter, because, you know, look, mate, at the end of the day, anyone can learn that if they sit there and they work at it long enough, right? For me, it's about like, it's about making the artist be the best artist they can be by helping them become the best person they can be. First and foremost. And, you know, I'm always like saying to people, when certain things have happened or there's been like controversy in the industry, I'm always the first one to say, look, like what happened's not great. What someone said's not great, but like, you don't know what's going through their head right now. You don't know where they're at psychologically. You don't know whether they've just lost a family member. You don't know a lot. So again, that approach that you have, I just love, because it's like, it's such a, you're thinking, you're putting people first. Yeah,
completely agree, mate. Completely agree. And it's, I mean, as I said, mate, it's no better than hearing someone do well or get a gig that they want or get a release that they want or something like that, you know what I mean? Or see a DJ support the track that they've made and things like that, you know. It's great to see other people do well, man. It really is. And I think that if you go around vibing on so much negativity as well, that I'm a firm believer in surrounding yourself with positivity and positive thoughts, and positive things will come your way. If you vibe around negativity and focus so much on like why are them getting that, or you know what I mean, how some people can get and they come across real bitter, then you're never ever going to reach your full potential, mate. I really don't believe that. You should just be concentrating on bettering yourself and helping everybody else out the best way that you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've always said that, in my time in the industry, like I've always had, when I've given to someone, it's like I don't do anything with an expectation of like getting anything back off anyone.
Yeah.
To be completely honest. And, for me, the best compliment that you can pay me is by going off and like doing as well as you possibly can. Yeah. And I've actually had that back. And the irony of that is like you get that back tenfold because you don't have any expectations about getting anything back.
Yeah.
No, it's a big thing. No, it's a big thing. Like, and as I say, I just think your entire approach, I think that whole attitude is one of the reasons why you're in the position you're in.
Cheers, mate.
No, it's absolutely right. Because like one of the things like I always try and say to people as well is like I've been lucky enough to kind of like hang around with people like yourself and worked with artists like Sasha in the past and a lot of other people, and it's interesting because you realize like as you say, this industry is very small.
Yeah.
And what you realize, like the closer to the center of the industry you get, it's like there's no space for dickheads.
No, not at all, mate.
At all.
Not at all.
You have to be a decent, good person in order to make it to the level that you want to, and be able to support people and, like you say, be that positive person first and foremost. So, I mean, it's amazing stuff. It really is. But in terms of, like on the production side of things, I mean, I've been a fan of yours and I've been in contact with you for a long time,
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the one that really stood out for me was like when you were releasing like a good few years ago on the likes of Celador on Paddy's label with Dave Seaman, and that remix of Dave Seaman, that Justified Ancients of Lulu thing that you did.
Yeah,
mate, that was the first one.
The original of that was so good, though.
Yeah,
wasn't it? I can't remember how that come about. I'm sure I'd messaged Dave about it, saying how much I liked the track, and then he was just like, "Do you want to remix it?" And I was like, "Wow, like I'd love to do that." Do you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, some of them tracks back then I've totally forgot about. People mention certain ones, and I've like, I forgot about that, and like even you just bringing that up there, I forgot about it. But yeah, I mean, it was really enjoyable doing stuff like that. I love remixing stuff, and just giving something like kind of my interpretation of what them have done. That's what I believe a remix should do. Do you know what I mean? And or just putting your stamp on something. But I remember when I remixed. I've done a Foregone Conclusion EP or something.
That's right, I remember that, mate. That was a banger of an EP, that.
Banging to watching The Office again. I was like, what should I call this? And remember, Brent said, his little band called Foregone Conclusion. So that went from, but mate, I'll tell you why it was called that as well, because I think Noir looks like David Brent on certain photos, and I pitched that Noir first. I'm shocked. And I pitched that Noir first, and Noir said no, and it come out on Celador. Oh, did it come out on Noir? And I'd said and then it said what it was, but that's the story behind that. Brilliant. Because like Noir looks like David Brent on certain photos. And I was just like, all right, I'll call it Foregone Conclusion.
You see, you've ruined him for me forever now, because every time I see a photo of Noir from now on, I'm just going to think of Ricky Gervais in The Office.
When you look at me, next time I see him, you'll give us so much shit for it, I bet, yeah.
Mate, I'm just going to take this clip completely out of context at the end of this, and I'm just going to send it to him and say, Chris has just thrown you under the bus live on the internet.
I'm sure I've told him when I've had a drink before, and he just doesn't understand, mate. Once I've had a drink and I'm out there and all other DJs, none of them understand this. They're just standing grinning and was thinking, what the fuck is he saying, man?
Mate, I had that experience and I'm a Scouser. That's the thing. Like, I remember I went to, because you played about 10 minutes away from my house a few years ago with Dave and Mick, and it was like the first one of those really mad raves they put on at like the Invisible Wind Factory in Liverpool.
Yeah, what's I?
And it was brilliant. And me obviously we had a great crack that night, and it was fantastic. And we had a really good chinwag. But like I got one stage when the beers really had kicked in, it was like every fourth word maybe, something like that. And I was gonna.
Didn't one of my mates find like a trombone or something backstage or something?
Yeah, it was Chris. It was Friggin' Big Chris.
It was and a kid called Michael Clappy. I'm sure it was him and his lass. And I'm sure he's still got it in his house.
Probably
sure he
has. Yeah, it probably has. Right, that was a hell of a night. That I think when the brass instruments came out, I took that as my cue to go home. To be honest, I have a rule. It's like the party's peaked when the brass instruments come out. When you start hearing trombones, it's time to ring an Uber.
No, I just search for the next drink, mate. Where's the tequila?
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. So, like, in terms of remixes, then, like, because I'm fascinated by like people's approaches to remixing. Because, like, you know, as we were having a quick conversation about before, naming no names, like, I've always had a bit of a problem with remixes. Like, I've always struggled with them, which is why I don't do a lot of them these days.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, what's the thing that kind of like draws you when you decide to do a remix? Or
as long as it's got one element which I can really work around, whether it be a part of a vocal which I really like. You know, like some tracks have got quite a big vocal section in, and it might just be a hook that you really like, or part of the chorus or something like that, even just part of the verse or something which I can work around, or a nice melody, or a good like string section in the breakdown or something like that. As long as it's got one element in there and I'm really into it, then I'll probably take the remix on type of thing. Whether my management and that want us to do it is a completely different question, mate. But I'll probably tell someone, and I get bollocked for it as well, because if somebody comes to me first, I'll be like, yeah, I'll do that, mate. And then it comes in, and it doesn't even get through, and then the artist has messaged me saying, I thought you were going to remix it, and I'm like, it hasn't even been offered, and it hasn't even got past like the management stage. But yeah, it's just simply that, mate. Just one little element which I'm really into, so I can work around it. And, you know, I don't know what it is. I'm lucky enough to when I listen to a track and someone asks me to remix it, I can picture something quite quickly about the way I would take it, you know what I mean? Unless I get 2 or 3 ideas, then I'll normally like go back and ask for maybe advice from my management and run the ideas past it. Sometimes it's like I'll run 2-minute clips off of each idea, just quickly throw them together and get their input if I'm torn between ideas. But more often than not, I'm pretty certain about where I'm going to take it and how I'm going to take it, type of thing.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because like it's there's so many different approaches to it as well, you know, and because like a lot of artists that I sort of know and are friends with, like they talk about how they either try and work with something that's either from like a different genre that they can bring into like a dance floor sensibility, or vocals as well. Like vocals have got to be a must for them for remixes. So there's so many different like ways of doing it.
I can understand the vocal comment, like without mate. You know, it especially. You know, some artists don't really work that many times with a vocalist, so kind of adds another string to their bow for them to do that on a remix. Or it may be a real head turner for an artist to do that, because people will be like, wow, he or she's worked alongside or worked with a vocal, you know what I mean? And it can be that standout track in their set. You know, if they've played a lot of instrumental work, like for maybe 45 minutes, an hour, and then they drop this vocal, the vocal's going to stand out in the set straight away, you know what I mean? It's the same as if you play a fair few vocal stuff, that one big melodic track or something like that, or that one which drops down to a more simple, like a simple area in the track, you know, if you just drop to a bass line and a kick, then that's going to be the track which sends out and gets a huge reaction from the crowd. Teaching, you know. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's something that I'm keen to do, because it's not something I've ever done. I've never actually worked with a vocalist. So, like you say, and I think for someone like me, sort of in the position that I'm at, like I've always wanted to work with a vocalist, but I've just never really like sort of found the right one. And you know, that's been something that's been a really big addition to your sort of like wheelhouse in the last couple of years, is just how well you've integrated vocals into your tracks.
I think, mate, in all honesty, I'm pretty lucky with the vocalist that I've been landed with, you know what I mean? Like, Effective put me in touch with Jem Cook a while ago, and we just stayed in touch, and Jem just nails stuff, you know what I mean? Even on our stuff with CamelPhat and things like that, and Hudson City too, she's nailed some of them vocals. Yeah. And then obviously I found this guy up north, Archie, who's he was living in Manchester for a bit, but he's from up Newcastle, and I think he's moved back up to Newcastle, and he also does a tech house type of alias, but I'm seeing them put out more of kind of like a filtery French housey type of vibe kicking about at the minute from them, you know what I mean? It's really cool when I've seen them post videos on Facebook and stuff. But these two laid bare. I asked the other guy, Paul Thomas, who's not Paul Thomas who you would like from years ago, you know what I mean? I just said, I just wanted a male vocalist, and I said, you don't know any male vocalists, do you? And he said, yeah, I'll put you in touch with one. And then I got in touch with Archie type of thing, and we spoke. And he just instantly got the music, you know what I mean? And the lyrics I write, I don't have to correct many lyrics for him. I don't have to correct much vibe. He just listens to the type of track and just comes back with something. And he works very quickly, which is perfect, you know what I mean? So I think I've been blessed by landing myself with those two as such, do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And like in terms of how you sort of work with the vocalist, the tracks come first? And then,
I'll write a track, and normally halfway through the arrangement, or even if I'm just writing, say, like 16 bars or something like that of the breakdown or something, I'll think to myself, this would sound better with a vocalist. And then you've got to remember to leave enough space. When I was first writing stuff with vocalists, I was putting too much in the track, and it was taken away from the vocals type of thing. I mean, I'm sat in a track called Illusions, and I've done about 30 odd different conversions of this track, mate. And it's just been trial and error to make sure that the vocal, there's enough space for this vocal, because it's absolutely amazing that the way that Archie sang it and stuff. He sounds like Depeche Mode on it, mate. It's brilliant.
Wow.
I'll send it over to you. He's just nailed it.
Oh, mate, I'd love to, yeah.
And it's just, I'd put too much into the track, and it was known what to take out, so that's why there's so many different versions. But the more that you work with them, the more accustomed you become to knowing where you've got to leave this space. So as I say, I write the record first, I write the track first, leave enough space, put the vocal in, put the effects on the vocals the way I want it and stuff like that, whether, you'll send us wet and dry, and I always just like to go and use my reverb and things like that, and add my little bit of delay to it and things, and have it. I quite like, yourself, the Fade to Grey thing in Ableton.
Yeah, it's
a nice little loop. It can add a bit of groove, a bit of drive to your track so you'll need that. So you've got to leave space for all these different elements, which you already know in your head you're going to put in. And then if you feel after that it needs a bit more percussion or something like that, then I'll add that once I've got the vocal back from them. And that seems to be the way I'm working with them, and it seems to be working decent enough so far.
Oh, yeah.
I've changed my thought process type of thing.
Well, yeah, the odd decent records come out of it, hasn't it? one or two, well-known bangers. I think you might have a big future in this game, mate. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, and that's the thing that's always stood out for me as well. And this is the thing. Like, this is the moment where literally plumes of smoke are going to come out of your backside. Because it's one of those things of I sit there and I listen to a lot of your tracks, and it was actually, again, going all the way back to the Dave Seaman remix, and even Fatally Abusing Moments, Hear and Breathe in the gym.
Yeah.
And it's go on, lads.
I think that's the Camel's name, do you know what I mean? Which has got a name. If that just come out as a Cristoph record, it would just be it wouldn't have done what it done. And I mean, the Camels nailed that when I sat in with them in Mambo's, you know what I mean? It was an honour to work alongside them too, you know. You'll know yourself, the Scouse lads, the two geniuses there, man, you know what I mean? And they deserve every success that they're getting, because they're all really talented lads, and you pick up a lot of work alongside people, mate, you know what I mean? You just ask a few questions, even across over the internet, the Jeremy Olander collab that was done over the internet, you know. You would write a bit his side and come back, and if you just ask them oh, how have you done that, or what have you used there, you know what I mean? And you just note it down in your little pad, because when you've got to an empty like hole where your brain should be. You just forget everything, you know what I mean? So I've just got like scribbles of paper everywhere in there, mate. Like to remember to put this in because I've got that many projects started through lockdown. So I'm like, right, you take that from an old track and put it in there, and like stuff like that. But I just write it down, and then if I don't write it properly, like the scribbles, and then there's a list properly, if I just keep it scribbles, I'll look back in 2 days' time and be like, what did I mean then, you know? It's like...
Yeah, exactly, and your handwriting looks like a doctor. Do you know what I mean? That kind of vibe. But the thing is, like, I mean, you're so right, and like, I mean, I've known Mick since the beginning.
Yeah.
Like before the beginning. I mean, yeah. I've mentioned this on a few different things, but like, dude, I was 15 working in a record shop in Liverpool, like knocking out records to Yusef. When Yusef used to work on the phones for the Littlewoods catalogue, I go back that far. Like, that was 1995. And then next to me was, Brendan Futurebound, the drum and bass guy. He was selling the drum and bass in the same shop.
Jeez.
And it was a crazy, crazy time. Like, and, I know Mick from, like, back then. Just it became very apparent very quickly that this guy was very special. Like, and the thing I say about Mick is like he's forgot more than I know. Yeah,
without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt. Like, he's crazy, man. Yes, he's got some very special years, that bloke. Like,
no, 100%. So yeah, you can't help but learn from people like that. And the thing for me, like, that stood out, and again, even like before Breathe and everything else, was the simplicity of what you do. So I used to sit there and listen to tracks and go, oh God, you make me feel like I'm going to retire. Because it's like, how has he got so much out of so little?
Yeah, mate, you know what? It was an interview years ago with Alesso, and he, like, the whole thing in the magazine was less is more. And I was like, really? Like, you know what I mean? And then when you start, like, because at first you're just like, oh, you need to put that in, and oh, you need to put that in type of thing. And then when you start stripping it all back and just working and kind of just nailing those elements, it starts filling those gaps in the track that you were trying to fill with another element. And it's giving it space and it's allowing it to just do its own thing. Do you know what I mean? And especially writing melodic music, like, you've got to give the melodies like that space to work, otherwise they're just going to get engulfed by the percussion and things like that. It's just not going to give you the vibe that you're wanting, and you're not going to be able to create that emotion that you want to kind of put on the dance floor and things like that, But it's just, I guess it's just practicing and then going back. I used to always, and I tell people a lot to do this, like, once you've made a track and you've rendered it down, jump on the decks, have a track that you like one side, then mix yours into it, and then mix another track which you like into the back end of that, and you can start hearing, once you've recorded it, what is the problems with your track, do you know what I mean? Because you can easily compare. I find, even when I go through a track, I'll turn the computer screen off, so you're not sat there watching it in your DAW, because you know what's coming next. And I think sometimes when you sat there and it's just your ears which is focusing, it allows you, you shouldn't have that happen there, or you shouldn't have that ride in there, or that clap's a bit too loud, or whatever, you know what I mean? And you need to do this and you need to do that. And there's loads of little different tricks. I remember I read Mark Knight ages ago, and he was saying, once you've made a track, first thing you need to do is test it on your car stereo, because if it sounds good on there, it's going to sound good on it. And everyone seems to know that now, do you know what I mean? It's still something I go and do. I'll just jump straight in the car and listen to it in there, and I'm just like, well, this sounds a lot of shit.
Mate, we've all been there. Like, I've got the amount of times I've started the track and then, like, come back to it the next day, listen to it and gone, Jesus Christ, I've got shit in my ears. The fuck was I thinking?
I can't wait to crack on with that tomorrow. It's going to be a belt, and then you're like, what the hell was I listening to yesterday?
The fuck was I on last night? Like, Jesus Christ. Honestly, like, I wouldn't have that as hold music, you know what I mean? I'd be offended if that music was in an elevator that I'd just got in, do you know what I mean? Just, the worst. But that's the good thing, isn't it? It's like, I think it's something that a lot of people need to hear as well. Like, but we all still go through the same shit.
Yeah, course, mate. I think a lot of people when they first start now just think that a producer will just walk in, write a banger, go out, get it signed the next day, and then he's back on tour. Do you know what I mean? Off the back end of that, and it's like you've got to learn the whole process, and you write a hell of a lot more shit than you do write decent tracks. Do you know what I mean? And you've been a hell of a lot more than you actually end up playing out or wanting to release and things like that. Like.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I was there. Sort of quote from Giorgio Moroder.
Yeah.
He said something once, and he said, for every 10 tracks you write, you'll write one good one.
Yeah, without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the biggest tracks out there, mate, are actually like I've read it, like they are classed as a mistake. It's not what they're actually meant to do. And I'm sure it's David Morales needing you, and it's like the version is the original mistake. And I'm sure I read somewhere that it was a mistake. He hadn't meant to go in and do that.
Well, on the original vinyl release, the track was literally called on the vinyl. It was called brackets original mistake.
Yeah, it's mad, man, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mental. It's mental. And I always remember listening to a podcast with, and he's another one who I've known a lot over the years, Paul Woolford.
Yeah.
And Woolly's just such a great guy. Like, I love Paul to pieces. Yeah, he's incredible. Like, and when I've like been with him in the past, we always end up like talking about all this type of stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
And he told me the story, and I heard it on a podcast once about because we did erotic discourse.
Yeah.
And that just absolutely just ruined the world for about 6 months, and that was a mistake.
Yeah.
That was like he'd like accidentally apparently like left, from what I'd heard. He'd left like a delay on a kick drum.
Right.
And left it rooted in because I think it was some hardware thing. And then he was doing a bit of fiddling around with it. He didn't really think much about it. He thought it was just like an interesting little loop. And then Brett Johnson stayed in his house because he was playing back to basics in Leeds. Yeah. And apparently Brett Johnson lost his shit that much about listening to what was erotic discourse. He fell down the stairs. It was just like, oh my god, like this is the biggest thing ever, and you've got to play this tonight. And Wooly was like, what, that thing? that piece of shit? Do you know what I mean? And then he played it, and then it went berserk, and then they put it out as the vinyl with erotic discourse on it, and then the rest was history. Like, so I mean, the run of form that guy's been on Wolford with like special requests and that.
But he's another one who's just unbelievably talented, and as you said before, mate, he's such a nice bloke. So it's great to see someone who's so nice doing so well in life, mate. Do you know what I mean? He just takes so much time out to speak to anyone he can, and always has a good laugh and stuff like that. He's a great bloke, man. Whenever I've met him, just has me in stitches.
God, me and him have had some nights out over the years. Like, I won't mention too much, like, but in the days of like, hanging around with Youssef quite a lot in the early days of Circus. Yeah, you know what I mean. It was like back in the day, sort of turn of the millennium, mate. Like things got mildly silly and out of hand, shall we say? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and there's a benefit to like at least one of us not taking any sort of shall we say party accelerators, if you will, because I'm the straightest guy in the room, so unfortunately I remember it all, like, so. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, got to be careful when I write the autobiography. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to throw anyone under the bus and get people in trouble. No, but there you go. So you're an Ableton guy then, yeah?
I am, mate. Yeah. I am. I've got Logic on there because Eric tried to get me into Logic, and it was maybe 2 years ago when I was on the bus with him, and he was saying like to get on it, so I got it, and I remember opening it up, and I just couldn't be asked to even begin to learn how to navigate around it. I was like, nah, it's too much. And then I spoke to Dragon Dirty South, and he was a Logic guy, and he was like, nah, you should get on it. And then he texted me like maybe a couple of weeks later, and he said, oh, Ableton, I'm going to give it a go. And then he was just like, mate, how quickly can you work in Ableton? And like, just penciling ideas down. And he's like, and now he's completely sacked off Logic, and he's on Ableton, he's
Brilliant.
Just absolutely loving it. So,
Brilliant.
A lot of people ask you those questions, and you'll get asked yourself, mate. It's like, oh, well, what one should I get? And I'm just like, have a look and see what one like you can navigate around best, because it's not the actual DAW, it's how you work in the DAW. Do you know what I mean? It's what you can do in there and how you can manipulate a certain sound or whatever like that. And that's what it's all about. But it's just easiness on the eye, and I find Ableton more easy on like on my eye type of thing than Logic, and that's the only reason for it.
No, it's got to do, it's got to work the way that you think.
Yes.
At the end of the day, and I'm just as you know, mate, I'm just a fucking nerd. So, like, I can use all of them because I'm just like that, and then, I've got no life, basically, so... I know how to use all of them basically, and like I've just actually, although I am actually in the process of integrating Cubase into a lot of what I do.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and that's just because of like as I've worked with a lot of the sort of the bigger film composers in Hollywood and stuff, and they're all on Cubase.
Right.
Like the Hans Zimmers and the Junkie XLs of this world are all on Cubase. Do you know what I mean?
So what, do them give you a reason why they're on that, or is it just what them are comfortable with, the same as what you tell people?
It's like Hans Zimmer's been using it since day one, basically. So, you use what the big boys use, basically. But it is really good. It has to be said. Like, I've been very, very impressed with it since I've started using it. It's been very, very good. But another mutual friend of ours, we were talking about it the other week, Denny. Yeah, Denny said to say hello. He was texting me before. He said say hello.
He's a good kid, isn't he?
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, like every now and then he'll know what I'm on about. He sends me messages about this incident in Sanky's a few years back. It cracks me up so much because I was like, it can't be that bad, and then there's some serious animosity between him and another DJ, mate. It was just ridiculous. I was just stood in the DJ booth and they were both just staring at each other. And he sends me just daft pictures and stuff like that all about it, and it cracks me up, man.
Oh,
he's so
brilliant. No, he's great. Yeah, we did the whole thing with him. We had a music conference up in Liverpool a few weeks ago before the lockdown, and he's great. He's really good value. I love him to bits. He's great. Yeah, and he's a big Cubase head as well, actually. So, we were sort of picking his brains about stuff and whatever. So, hopefully we'll drag him on one of these things soon enough.
I would imagine he'll enjoy coming on, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just going to publicly...
He'll have great stories from Borough Way, mate.
Oh, mate, yeah. I was going to say, he's many things, Denny, but he's definitely not a Geordie.
Nah, he's not, man. Smoggy.
as we call people not from Liverpool, we all call them wolves. Woolly backs, for obvious reasons that I'm not going to go into, because it's I'd have to wait another hour until after 9 PM in the UK to go under to what a woolly back actually is and what it entails.
I'll let you text us another time about it, mate.
Yeah. I'll send you some memes, mate. It'll make it all very, very clear. So you've not used anything else then? You're purely Ableton and Yeah, amazing, mate. Amazing. And in terms of plugins and stuff, have you got anything that you sort of go to? I know you mentioned the fade to grey thing, which is brilliant.
At this moment in time, I'm a massively into Yuhi, like the Diva and stuff like that, and Repro and things. But again, it's another question I get asked quite a bit. Huge Omnisphere 2 fan, mate. I think that's absolutely brilliant. And Jeremy Orlando told us to get the Sound Toy stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
And it's really, really good. And I remember speaking to Daly about it, Hudson City 2, and I think he's a big fan of Pan Man and stuff like that. Obviously, which is in there, and it is great, mate. It's a great effects unit and stuff. So, but yeah, the Yuhi stuff like Diva, there's some of the power coming out of the plugins and that nowadays, man. I remember we spoke ages ago, and I had the Sub 37, and I still have it. It's just down there. I can't be bothered to link it all up and that, mate, because you can manipulate your sounds and stuff in the plugins, and you can get some serious stuff out of them, man. The strength of some of them is just brilliant. And a lot of places like Audio Tent and stuff like that bring out certain preset packs, which are absolutely amazing sounding, it's brilliant. So it's all perfect for me, especially for the stuff that I'm writing, just to use all that that stuff at this moment in time.
Nah, amazing, mate. Yeah, I totally agree with you, because I'm completely in the box as well.
Yeah.
And, and that was also to do with travel as well, to be honest, because I was traveling quite a lot, and it's I had a few bits, and I had I really on the hardware side, I really the Korg mini logs and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah.
And they're brilliant, but it sat there collecting dust because I was never in the studio to use it, so I just sold it in the end. And, it's the way my sort of whole thing works is, I've got an iMac in my main studio here, which is what I'm talking to you on now, but I've got this laptop behind me as well, and that's what I use as like me mobile production rig. But the two systems are mirrored, so I can literally take something on the road and it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? It's like I can just load it up in this, in Ableton or whatever I'm using.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree with you more, mate. The Yuhi stuff has just absolutely just tore through in the last few years. It's been amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it has, man. It
really
has.
Especially the Repro. Like, the Repro was a game changer for me.
Man. Excellent.
Yeah.
So good. There's some absolutely amazing presets in there that you don't even want to change too much because they sound that good.
No, exactly, mate. Yeah, I love all the bass stuff on Repro and some of this. Like, I like being able to on some of the sequences, just like tweak the sequence just a little bit and kind of recompose it a little bit. So it's not the preset, obviously, but be able to kind of use it that way. And the sound toy stuff, I've been using that for years as well, and I love that. I love the distortion, the decapitator.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, mate. You got to love a plugin called Decapitated, haven't you?
It's brilliant.
Any plugin with a button that's marked punish, I'm there. Like, just push the punish button, see what happens. Do you know what I mean? All that.
See what it comes out with.
No, exactly, mate. Yeah, and the Omnisphere stuff, I'm a huge fan of as well, and I've been using that for years as well. Like, those guys are ridiculous. Like the Omnisphere guys, Spectrasonics.
I remember reading about Omnisphere too much. It's got 15,000 different presets in, and they've actually been into churches. Like, there's a choir section in there, isn't there, where you can choose the oohs and the ahs, whether it be from a boys' choir or a woman's or a man's or like a joint choir type of thing. And they've been in, recorded them all live in churches, and then built them into this. It's just insane. And there's a lot of different atmospheric parts which I'll get from Omnisphere for my tracks in the breakdowns, and certain times you can hear in the background. It like, I remember there's a few people mentioned it and they said, it sounds like a choir in the background. It's from this this plugin type of thing which I've got, and it's brilliant, man.
That's so good.
Like, it's massive. It takes about 8 days to get on your computer or something.
No, that's the worst. It's the worst. I mean, I got Omnisphere 1 back in the day, right? And it was before, you get stuff like on just download stuff and whatever. And it was like those old, those Amiga computer games that come on 26 discs. And it was just like, oh god,
you don't load one up quick enough and you've got to restart it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the computer's knocking out the disc, and it's like, please insert disc 17. And it's like, oh, fuck's sake, man, you gotta be there all day installing software. It's fucking ridiculous. No, absolute killer. But yeah, I mean, the Omnisphere stuff's amazing. The one I love the most, the story with them, is they literally there's a preset on there called the burning piano.
Right.
And it is quite literally that. So what they did is that they got a guy in a fireproof suit, right?
Right.
And they literally set a piano on fire and got him to play it with loads of microphones around it.
Honestly?
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. That's like another level, isn't it?
Oh, mate, the nuts. The nuts. I think they've only made, in 20-odd years, Spectrasonics, I think they've only made, 5 or 6 plugins, but they've been,
Not surprising. They're setting things on fire and not made them.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. As long as they weren't setting the piano on fire in the church while the choir was at it.
You were going to tell Luke to say that the song made the bloke, set him on fire and then made him play the piano while he was on fire. That's a bit harsh on the bloke.
I was going to say, that's commitment. That's why it's so expensive. You've got to pay out the life insurance on him. No, but it's mental. The amount of detail you can go to on stuff like that is mental. And as you were saying, it's dead easy with plugins like that to go completely over the top.
Yeah. Totally,
you know what I mean, and not so so what do you do? Do you because my whole approach to production, I'll be honest with you, is to basically throw as much shit at the wall as possible and then figure out what works. So are you a little bit more sort of minimalist in that approach, or do you,
yeah, completely, mate. I mean, sometimes I'll just start with a kick and then if I'm just quickly starting to start something off, I'll just throw the bassism in.
Mate, love that plugin for kicks.
It's ridiculous. I think it's $9 or something like that.
Ridiculous, mate.
Eric was telling me about it, and he says, mate, just use that. It's like a beast, you know what I mean? So just quickly throw that in, and then you can either start your bass line or whatever. I'm gonna throw a few more drums in there. and try and create like a little bit of a groove, and then start writing your melodies from there. But I normally work maybe across 16 bars at a time and just have a loop on. And and I often just have a loop playing and potter around the house. And if I'm not getting bored of it, then I think, I'll do that. And I remember once it was in my old house, had one of my good friends, a kid called Guffers, who lives over in Australia now, and I named the track after him. He was in the house and he was asleep in the spare room, and I was writing. It was for the DFTD album, like the first mix album, and I had to do like a few remixes. So I was doing one of Jacob with Sarah Story. Can't remember the name of the track, but I had like this piano, and it was just looping, and I had it on on loop for absolutely hours in the house. And I was just walking around. I was playing on the computer downstairs. I popped out the shop and left it on and come back in. And he'd come out the room, and for about 24 hours, it was just embedded in his brain, and he just kept on humming this fucking loop. And he's like, I can't get it out my head, man. But yeah, that's what I do, and I potter around, mate. Like a lot of, I think some people sit there and they try and force something out. And I just try and sit back and just like think, right, just have that loop around, and then, like, it's always been a weird one. I always think if you walk into a different room, you can tell sometimes that art needs that or needs this element here or something like that, rather than just sitting staring at the computer thinking what it needs. I think I just try and make it as natural as I can, type of thing. And like, because you're going to hear it from all different angles in a nightclub, and there's always loads of different obstacles, and bodies absorb sounds and things like that. So I just try and just think, like, what would I place there? And another little trick which I've got, I always try and write from the dance floor. So like when I'm DJing, you might sometimes see us get the phone out, and I'll write down, and it's not me texting someone, it's me like writing in the phone, like I want to make a track for this area of my set, and then I'll go back to that and remember what I was playing around that area, and then think of the structure of the track and think you might want to write a 2-3 minute breakdown. You might just want it to constantly roll on and roll on, so you start knowing what elements you're going to need for that certain track, type of thing.
No, it's amazing. That it's a really amazing, like, how mindful like you are and how aware of that at that moment within the context of your set. That's fantastic. It's a really good tip, that, actually.
Yeah,
it's really, really cool.
I mean, I suppose there's so much music out there, but a dream would be for you actually to go out and play a set of all your own music. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's not many artists out there who actually do that. So if you were ever be in a position to have that big of a back catalogue to be able to do that, would be perfect. That's why I try and write records where can be placed at any moment in the set, type of thing, and so you've got a selection to go from, because that is one of my aims, to be able to go out at one point, whether it's just one set, and people could say it's the worst set ever, you know what I mean? I don't quite know, but it's going to be like, it's just something which I want to aim to do, to be able to play a 2, 3, 4 hour set where it's just all my music, type of thing. And it'd be really cool to look back on that and think, I've done that, type of thing.
Would you consider like doing that as like a sort of a live set almost, or would it just be purely DJing?
No, just see like how Eric does, or I mean, Waff. He must play some of it, just all his own music or close to it. Do you know what I mean? Back when I'd crossed paths with him quite a bit, he was playing a hell of a lot of his own music, so he might be able to have that back catalogue. Like, but I mean, Eric's the perfect one really to sit and say. I would imagine Tale of Us could probably do it. That them would be sat on a hell of a lot of music, whether it's edits and things like that they've done. Mind the Games might be another ones who could do it, but. You sit there and you listen to Eric's music, and obviously I tour with the guy a lot, so you're sitting there listening to 2-3 hour sets that he's doing, and every single track's his, and it would just be amazing to be able to go out and do that, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And again, like, you're talking about talent, like, there's none more, really, is there, than him?
Definitely not, mate. Not after sitting in the studio and that with him, it's just like, blows your mind, man.
And again, it's like, what I love about him is you're very similar to him in that way, where it's like the simplicity of just the ideas, the purity of the ideas is just so sharp and so on point. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, Eric's just, he's just in a different world, mate. I've always said all along. He's just a genre within himself, Eric. Like, he's just crazy.
I think that's a really good way of putting it, because it always fascinates me, people like Eric, that like he transcends genre.
Yeah.
Like everybody loves him.
Yeah.
No matter what you're into.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt. And I think he's held, like, on this side of the industry, he's held in like major, like everyone's got serious respect for him, type of thing, because of his talent, the way he holds himself within the industry as well. You know, I've learned a lot off the bloke after working alongside him, mate. It's again, it's just another honour to be alongside someone so big and talented within the industry.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, because I remember actually, because I was living in LA at the time, you know, when you opened for him.
Yeah.
At Sound in LA, and then it all changed.
Yeah, completely, mate. It was,
I remember it, man. It was so wild, because I was meant to meet you, and you went to Vegas. And we were texting each other, and I remember this whole thing incredibly clearly. It's really strange. But you were supposed to play Monday, I think it was Monday Social.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And then the gig got cancelled while your plane was in the air.
It was, yeah. I think something happened. I don't quite know, because it's none of my business, but it was something that happened the week before. I think there was actually maybe a fight within the club or something like that.
Yeah, it was something stupid, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you just don't want that in our world, type of thing. And I don't know if this was maybe an incident which had happened a couple of times on this one night. So the thought was because of the clientele that night was attracting. So maybe he's had to sit down that day and just cancel the night. So I was like, right, I'm going to land in LA and play this gig and stuff like that. And I was just, nah, you're not playing. I was just like, wait.
But what was weird about that whole situation is that I knew about it before you did.
Yeah, I was sat there probably nudging the guy next to us on the plane, like, oh, I'm going to be playing LA that night, you know. Yeah. It was shit.
And I'm like,
the club's not even open, you lying little bastard.
Yeah, well, I remember like waiting for you to land, going, how do I tell him? Like, how do I tell him he's come all this way and he's not playing? Do you know what I mean? And then you went to Vegas, and then you came back, didn't you? And then you opened for Eric.
I was around America for a bit, and I was meant to fly home from Chicago because Eric was doing the Saturday, Sunday, and I'd played in Chicago for the last gig. And then I got a phone call on the Sunday morning saying that if I flew back across to LA and then flew home from LA on the Monday, I could play the Sunday night. And I thought, you know what it is, like, I had to pay everything out of my own pocket instead of somebody paying for your flight or your accommodation or anything like that. There was absolutely zero money in the gig because it was a charity gig and stuff like that. But I just thought, you know, I might never ever get to play alongside or with like my hero ever again. And he just started playing my track Catsy on his radio, like on his radio show. So I thought, you know, I'll end on that and hopefully engage in some sort of conversation. So I ended on it, and he turned to Rennie, his tour manager, and he's like, for fuck's sake, I wanted to play that track. And Rennie was like, that's Cristoph type of thing. So I was like, oh, and that's how we got speaking type of thing. Yeah. And it was something as simple as that. But I guess, like, when you believe in something, that something's going to happen, and I always tell people that I would play alongside them, probably to wind them up, because I'm a little shit to people at times, and you know, I just want them to like really bite at it.
You of all people, I'm so shocked. I thought you were just a nice lad. Didn't think you had that in you.
Oh, mate, all Geordies have, I think.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's a bit rich coming from me, like, but.
But yeah, mate, and it just went from there. Really, like, it's, as I say, it's an honour to be touring alongside him, you know what I mean? And getting tips from him. And he's turned to be like one of my good friends, you know. We speak a lot more like of stuff outside of music than we do inside, you know, like just checking up on each other through this time and seeing how he's getting on. And I know LA's just got hit with an earthquake, like through the night type of thing. I don't think it was the strongest, but it's still probably not a nice experience for someone to go through. And you know, he's got his wife and 2 kids there as well, so it's like, you know, like it's as long as everyone's safe and he's getting on all right, is the most important thing. So it's good to be able to conversate with someone like that.
No, totally, yeah. I mean, it was exactly the same with me and the people I've worked with as well. Like, I remember like developing those relationships over the years, and especially with like working with people like Sasha and that kind of thing, and getting to know him over the years. Like the first time me and him spoke about music was when we were sat in the studio together and I was about to start working with him on his last album.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, like, we'd be at gigs and stuff, and it'd be mostly like food, his wife and kids, footy, mostly footy.
I was just about to say football with Sasha. Like, I can't remember what it was it Creamfields or something like that? It was a festival, and he was sat there and he was playing. I think I was coming on after him, and he was sat with me and he was like that, and he showed me the score, and Liverpool had just pumped someone. I'm sure it was Arsenal, had beat Arsenal 4-0 or 4-1 or something like that. And he was showing us like that, and he was like, get in, type of thing. Got the fucking score up.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, and again, like it does sort of circle back to what we were saying before about, like, the context that you meet people at these situations. Yeah. It's like, it's important to remember that these people are just like normal people.
Oh, yeah, completely.
I have a horrible saying that I give to people, which is like, look, and you go and meet one of like your heroes or whatever, like I always remember, like, look, they all shit out the same hole we do, like.
Oh yeah, completely, mate.
They're no different. They've just got a slightly higher profile.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Their job is just a little bit more in the public eye. The rest of the time, like, and in fact, I think that's one of the things that's really helped me in my relationships with people over the years. I don't treat anyone any differently, and in fact I quite enjoy sort of like not bringing people down a peg or two, but I just like you were saying, like, I'm a little shit, and it's like I like just sort of poking a little bit, and there was a fairly sort of like not infamous incident, but like I think it was like Creamfield 2015, and like Eric had his tent on the Sunday. And it was like I was there with Sasha, and like Maceo Plex was playing after him and stuff like that. And then like me and Maceo just started having banter. Right. And when you just click with someone.
Yeah.
And we ended up kidnapping him and taking him to Liverpool and just getting him absolutely hammered. Like, it was hilarious. It was 2015. Like, it was hilarious.
Yeah. Kidnap me next time, mate. I'll come out with a good baby with you.
Oh, mate, absolutely. When everything's back open, mate. It's game on, isn't it?
Certainly is, mate. I can't wait.
Yeah, just don't pull the same trick Maceo Plex did with me, because he still owes me 20 quid for the taxi home.
Oh, I'll definitely be pulling that one, pal.
Of course you will.
20 quid as well.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he proper pumped me for that. Like, he pumped me for the taxi back to the hotel. Like, well, I was trying to be a gracious host. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it's fun stuff, mate. It's fun stuff. So yeah, I mean, are you sort of like loving lockdown life at the moment, or are you just gritting to get back out there, like?
Of course, mate, I want to get back out and work. I'm one of those people who really enjoys work, and as I said at the start, we're really lucky to be doing what we're doing. But I'm someone who just loves nightclubs, loves that scene, like loves to be in it, mate. And of course, I want to be everything to be open and be over. But I also want to be over for my friends and my family. Like, it's them are stuck in like doing their thing, and I think they want to get back to work. I know my sister wants to get the kids back to school because I think they're pecking her head just a little bit. My brother's probably the same and that, and I know my mum wants to get out, and I know that everyone wants to just see each other. It's all good and well, like speaking over here and stuff, and like my nana, she's in a care home and stuff, and she doesn't quite understand it, mate. She's in her 90s, and she doesn't understand that we're getting told that we can't go to see her.
Yeah.
She's believing that we are opting not to see her, and then she's had a chest infection, so she's had to self-isolate as well, because they're taking the precautions. She's had the tests and stuff, and she hasn't got this coronavirus thing or anything like that, but she still has to self-isolate. So, but she's obviously, as I said, she's old. She's believing that it's just we're choosing to put her there, and no one's going to see her and stuff. And
it's tough, mate.
Sad to see it, and you just want to get back. So it's, speaking to a 90-year-old over like the FaceTime type of thing, which the care home's got. She hasn't got a clue what's going on. She's just like that, staring into the screen and stuff, you know what I mean?
Bless her.
So, of course, you want things to go back to normal as quickly as possible. It's just you've got to understand that it's it's a real serious thing that we're going through, and just there's a bigger picture than me in my life and what I want best for me and those around me. You've got to think about the country and the world as a whole, you know, like what is the best for, as I say, the bigger picture. But it hasn't been a major issue, mate. It really hasn't. It's just something that you've just got to do. There's no other option, you know, like there's nothing else could have been done. We've just been told that you've got to sit in this lockdown. So what's the point in sitting here like wallowing in self-pity, mate? You've just got to make the best of it and take the opportunity to write some music, you know. And then once it's all released, and everyone's it gets back to some sort of normality. Who knows? I might end up going on a 12-week tour or something like that, which is that intense that you're not able to write that much music. You're just penciling ideas down. So then you'll come back and you'll be quite grateful that you've had this time to sit and write music, you know. So it's always, I just think you've got to take the best, positive situation out of it type of thing.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And, you know, I mean, in a weird way, like I'm actually enjoying like the lack of distractions in a weird way, and I'm getting my head down. And, you know, that's why, like, you know, over the last 2 weeks, mate, you know, we've had yourself on, we've had Nick Muir from Bedrock, we had Tim Green a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, it's nice to, like you say, like, obviously we all want to do this together. We'd prefer to do this in person, absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
But one of the positives of it is that, you know, in a way, like me and you probably wouldn't be having this conversation tonight if it wasn't for it. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to take the positives with it and take the rough with the smooth. And, you know, I know exactly how it is, mate, because, you know, with sort of my own situation, like, and I haven't got a grandparent in a care home, but, you know, I've got a nephew who's like severely disabled. And he is, you know, he's got quite a, you know, he needs looking after a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a bag of laughs, like, and he's brilliant, and he's a proper handful, like, and he's 18. But you know, he doesn't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like in the wider context of the world, of course he knows what's going on around him and stuff. But you know, he's like he needs a lot of attention, and he has like he goes to a special school and stuff that like really cater for his needs and stuff. And he obviously can't go to school because like the schools are shut, and you know he's rattling around the house all day, and we can't go and see him.
Yeah.
You know, and it's tough because like normally it's a family effort to like, you know, be able to be around someone like that, you know what I mean, and be able to look after them. So
I see, you don't realise any of that, you know, and it's just you want everything back to normal for those people, you know, but it's hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not going to be a huge drawn out thing. You just don't know. As I said, you're right at the very start. I'm not educated enough on the matter to even pass an opinion or a belief of what I think will happen because I know nothing about it. I would never ever attempt to. I just hope and pray that everyone stays as safe as possible and we'll get through it all and just come out good on the other side and everyone can build up and get back to a good positive life type of thing.
Yeah. So are you finishing a lot of music at the moment?
I started off so many.
Oh, mate, you could have so bullshitted me then. I went, yeah, I got like half an album. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't lie to you, pal. I mean, I have finished some. I won't lie about that, you know what I mean? And as I said at the start, I've been doing a bit of an alias, but it's more of I love a good piano, so it's more of a crossover thing, which is just a faceless production. And it's probably just me filling in time by doing that type of thing, rather than, you know, like, I think if you write across a few different genres, you can always learn something from that other genre and things. You mentioned it earlier on about people wanting to work on remixes and drag those things into remixes, and I just think it's just another thing that you can learn. But Cristoph's stuff, I mean, I've tightened up a few tracks. I think I've done maybe about 4 or 5. I've wrote a few new intros. So I've gone into writing intros and stuff like that for sets. So I'm fully finished, and it's still going to be a few weeks at least till we're out of release by like what they're saying anyway. So I'll be able to get another few finished. I'll get another couple done this week. I'm going to do a couple of collabs and things like that, which I'll get on. So maybe by the end of it, I'll be walking out with 10, 12, 15 tracks, but while I'm sat here on this phone call, like Skype call at this moment in time, nah, I haven't finished that many minutes. I could have finished a hell of a lot more. They're there, and I can picture exactly how they're going to go and what's going to happen and everything about it, but just sitting there and kind of pulling my finger out to do it. And as I said to you, mate, I'll go down, I'll play COD, I'll get so angry that I'm in the gulag half the time. So I want to get better than that. Then I'll play someone on FIFA. I'll start throwing the cushions around the room because I've been beat off some 10-year-olds. And you know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm getting so angry. And then it's dinner time, and then I'm sitting watching and starting a new series or something like that. And then I'll go out into the garden and I'll do a gym session. Then I'll come back in and then I'll start writing something. But I know that I want to beat someone at FIFA, so I'll be back downstairs arguing with myself there. And that's just me deal. I'm going out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cristoph's daily routine during lockdown. There you go. That's all you need to know. That's it. It's done. Just follow that and you'll be fine. Oh, God, brilliant, mate. You crack me up. You absolutely crack me up. It's phenomenal. Like, it's so true. It's so true. Like, I mean, that no wonder you were so like, oh, yeah, we'll do this Skype call this week. It's like
just something completely different for us, mate. It's like, I sound.
Yeah, exactly, mate. I mean, only talking to...
in there, you know what I mean? Talking right up.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's only like the shit we'd normally chat backstage at a rave anyway, do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what it's all about, mate. That's what it's all about. But yeah, I mean, it's good to hear that you are sort of like, you know, motoring on and getting something done. And I think,
of course, mate.
You know, on the other side of it, like, I mean, I hear a lot of people like, oh, you know, you got to make the most of this and getting stressed about, like, you know, like, you know, you've got to get out of this with like an EP and stuff like that. And like, I've just said to everyone who I work with, it's like, you know what your number one objective is during this lockdown? Don't die.
Yeah.
Everything else on top of that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you get an EP out of it and you're not dead, then I think you're doing. I think that's a pretty good result, right?
Yeah, just a bit, mate.
Just, you know, it's crazy. Like, it's absolutely crazy. But have you got any sort of aspirations to do other stuff? Like, I mean, like to go into different areas of the industry, like, you know, like.
You know what it is? Like, I've got a lot of goals to reach in the production side of things. I want to get a label. I want to like get into that side of things, run my own label, run my own night, turn it into a brand type of thing. But I'm not disillusioned by the whole fact of, oh yeah, I've played here and I've played there, I'm this or I'm that, you know what I mean? Because I don't believe I am, and I don't believe I'm anywhere near the size or like can pull that many numbers in type of thing to create something which is just my own night in some sort of club, you know, like. For instance, say a night in Ibiza or something like that. I don't think I'm anywhere near a residency or anything like that. And I don't want to start up a label, which I'm not giving someone who's entrusting me with their piece of work the good enough platform to get it into the hands, to be heard and to be supported and to know it's going to do well on people and you know what I mean, turn some heads and help that person and aid that person in their career. I don't believe... I would hate someone to be like, yes, I've signed onto that label, and then it's mine and the label's fault why that piece of work and that piece of music is flopped because I haven't done my work type of thing, and I haven't pulled like the weight on my side because them have done the work their side. So I think if you are a certain size and you have got a certain sort of fan base, numbers wise, like people are going to listen to your music and listen to like your sets and more type of thing. And if I can aid people like that, then of course I want to do it. So I'll launch a label when I believe I'm ready. On top of that, I really want to get into management as well, mate. I don't think it would be a better thing than unearthing some amazing little talent and helping them become and reach their goal. Do you know what I mean? I think that'll be amazing at times, and it's an area which I really want to look into in the future and buy into, to have my own management. You know, whether people work and then them come to me and I'll come and speak to them while still DJing out there and things like that. I don't quite know, but it's you want to try and pass on your knowledge to people and help them, as you said earlier on in the conversation, mate. It's just something which I really want to do. Yeah. I don't think I'm out to be an agent or anything like that, and I'll probably do some horrendous moves when I'm a manager or something like that, because I'll always say yes to something for someone when I know it's probably the wrong move for them. So, you know what I mean?
Well, you're really selling it to me with that, mate. You're really selling it.
I'll say no. You can be the first. You can be the guinea pig, mate. We'll see how well it works.
It's normally what happens, mate. You know what I mean? I'm a guinea pig with my own haircut. Never mind anything else, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's where I'm wearing headphones to avoid the fact that I look like Macklemore at the minute. But it's what happens with quarantine cuts, mate. It's a whole new thing. Now, I think honestly, like on a serious note, like that's such a lovely sort of like natural extension of what you're doing for people. Anyway, I think you've got such a kind of an energy of like wanting to help people anyway. Which is fantastic. So a label is a really great way of doing that. And you know, I've always said to people, when you do start a label, you have to understand what you're starting the label for. And if you're starting the label for it to primarily be a driver of you, then it's probably not going to be the best idea, because you know, I've always said to people, if you want to help other talent make it, then you have to start a label for that reason. If you want to make it yourself, then you've got to get signed to other people's labels, because that's what they're there for more than anything.
Yeah, exactly, mate, exactly.
No, without a doubt. So yeah, I mean, look, we could, you know, I could happily help you on that when the time is right. You know, we get so much good music coming through us at MYT. It's unbelievable. It really is. You know, and we could definitely do some stuff around that for sure. You know, which is fantastic. So yeah, I mean, dude, what a great thing, and management wise as well, I think you'd be a great guide to people as well. Yeah,
fingers crossed, mate. I'll just get pedals straight away. Now he's the fucking one. I'll get rid of him.
Yeah, if you're in one of those, like, you know, management scare stories type thing, like you won't believe what he did.
Yeah, blogs everywhere. Do not sign with Cristoph's management. It's shit.
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. Yeah. Anyway, looks like it's getting pretty dark down up there, mate.
It's Newcastle for you, mate. It's been lush weather up here as well, which is just unheard of. Mate, as soon as lockdown's over, I guarantee it pisses down for 3 weeks straight here. It's bound to, man.
Mate, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've got a face on me like a smacked arse at the minute because of the sunburn, like. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem being ginger, mate. Do you know what I mean? You go pink and you go white again, like. I often say to people, like, my tans wash off in the shower after I've been out, like. Just get back into being like completely translucent white and back in the studio, like. So happy days. So yeah, one thing I was going to ask you as well, like sort of on a final tip, is like, you know, in terms of, like, as you were saying, like other avenues within the industry, like would you think about doing even like completely different forms of music?
I would definitely, mate. I would love to get into certain areas, you know, like certain sides of the pop world. I would really love to get into, work with like really good singers, you know what I mean? Even just the cinematic side of things, you know, like working on a score for something's really interesting. But again, I'll know when I get there as a producer type of thing. I'll never have someone tell me, right, I think you should be doing that, because if you haven't got the self-belief at that moment in time, you're not going to get like your best work out type of thing. So I'll start looking into that once I know I'm starting to nail every track just about that I'm putting out or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to keep coming back, and then I'll go, right, I want to add an extra string to my bow type of thing. I'm going to start doing this and just seeing what it is. And again, it's going to go about where you can make these connections with people and things like that. And you don't know who, maybe, I mean, look at Dirty South, he's done scores and stuff like that before. I can start speaking to him to see if he can start getting me in the right angles and things like that. You know, I'll see what I can do, mate.
No, absolutely, mate. And you know, you've obviously got me as a resource as well, mate. Because you know, as I said, I've done the rounds in places like LA and stuff, and I know what the ground's like. And it was really funny actually, because earlier on today, almost like as a prep for this, I watched your, you know, when you had that sit down with the Modern Wisdom lads about 6 months ago.
With Chris Williamson,
yeah, I loved it, mate. It was really, really good, mate. It was really, really good.
Yeah, this massive light just beaming on us, mate. I was pouring a sweat. Yeah. So I had like an oversized t-shirt on, so it was like hanging away from my armpit, otherwise I just would have walked as if I've been pushed in a swimming pool.
Is that why you've kept the light off in this?
I'm in black as well, mate. So
I know, mate, yeah, you look like one of the computers off Red Dwarf at the minute. You're just like a floating head.
Oh, that's 2 seconds, mate.
Oh, that's better. Here he is.
There you go, mate.
Is right. We're back in business.
I just sit in the dark anyways, and that, mate. That's I'll just sit here and work. I totally didn't realise that the light was off.
Yeah, it's all good, mate. Mate, we've been going for like nearly like an hour and 3/4, like, so the light's definitely gonna change. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Geordies can natter on and soak in the scouse lot, so it's all good.
Mate, yeah, same, mate, exactly. It was dead funny. We did the track feedback with Nick on Sunday, and I nearly broke him. Mate, nearly 3 hours it went on for, and he was like, "How many's left?" And I went 5, and he went 5. It's like he's like, I've got to get home. My wife's gonna kill me. Like,
just wring his neck.
Yeah, exactly. Get the hairdryer off Mrs. Muir. Like, do you know what I mean? Absolutely brilliant. Nah, funny stuff, mate. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because I mentioned that podcast that you did with Chris.
Yeah.
And obviously, was he on Love Island?
He was. I think he was on Love Island and Take Me Out.
Right.
Something like that.
Because he's really got that personality for those shows. Not.
Yeah. He's exactly. He's a promoter from up here. That's how I know him, mate. And he studied up here. I think he might be from York way or something like that.
Oh, right.
So I know him from just going out in town and things like that. And then he's branched off and he started this. And I'm sure that you get some serious guests on and stuff like that.
He does. He's doing really well.
He's just a lovely lad, and he's been wanting to get me on for a while, and then we had a bit chat about certain things, and the mental health side of things, and I just said, oh look, I'm back off tour then, so I'll just pop round to your house. He doesn't live too far away, so I just drove out his and just sat in his front room and just had a bit of banter with him, mate.
Yeah, no, he's amazing. It was great. It was a really great conversation. It was really funny because I mentioned that because like you were talking about like somebody had said to you there's a pop producer like fighting to get out of here, and I was like, that was me.
Exactly.
I was like, yeah. So it's so funny, when you see things like that happen indirectly, and then like I was saying to Gar today, who does your socials and that, like he's a member with us, and it's like that whole story of like the lad who came over from Ireland, and the second you started that, I was like, I know who that is.
Yeah, I mean, it was class that. Yeah,
brilliant.
But yeah, that was Gar. He's a lovely kid, mate. He's very, very talented as well, mate.
Yeah,
really
you were
good.
Saying like his melodies, writing's fantastic. Like
brilliant, mate. Really, really good. I mean, he needs a bit more self-belief. I've told him that, but
well, he's in good hands, mate.
Yeah, I think he thinks I'm just being nice, but he is. He's very, very talented, pal.
Nah, he's in good hands with me, mate. I'll look after him.
Yeah, no, the fact is, I said that to him.
Yeah, he'll be out on your new label. You'll be managing him within no time, mate.
Sounds good.
I'll let him be the guinea pig, and then like when I figured out that you're safe, then I'll jump in after that. That's just who I am, like, do you know what I mean?
Sounds good, mate.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. No, fantastic, mate. Look, I really, really appreciate you doing this, mate, because it's just
not a problem at all.
No, mate. It's really, really good for you. And it's like, as I said, like I saw you text me after the session with Nick on Sunday, and like I mean, when I said like, we should do something like this, I was expecting like in about like 3 or 4 weeks. I wasn't like, let's do it on Wednesday. Yeah, all right, sound.
Yeah, exactly. As I say, it's changed my day. I don't know whether I'm coming or going, you know what I mean? It's like, your routine's out the window.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You probably got plenty of excess energy to go and like scream at a load of 10-year-olds on COD now.
Right, so mate. Feel the game coming on, headset on. I'm going to go watch, I've been watching this thing on Netflix, what's it called? How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, yeah, good.
So, it's decent. It's very American, mate. But it's... It like I just like the little twists in it and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna stick that on. I've done like 10 episodes in the past 24 hours or something like that.
In between games of COD and FIFA and writing intros.
That's probably why I'm not getting my work done as well.
Yeah, probably, mate. Probably, yeah, mate. I've been lethal for it as well. Like, there's been 2 things, and you'll probably rip the shit out of me for one of them. Like, but there's 2 things that have gotten me through. One was Mindhunter.
Right, class,
on Netflix, mate. Wow, like I smashed both seasons of that in like a week.
Yeah, brilliant, mate.
Like, oh, mate, so well written. And on the complete opposite end of it, mate, I am watching an unhealthy amount of American wrestling at the moment. Like, I'm going through like every WrestleMania at the minute. Like, I'm almost up to when The Rock fought Hulk Hogan.
Jesus, mate.
And I've only got another.
You've done a series one, haven't you?
Mate, I've done this, mate, and I've got another 20 of them to go after that. I'm only up to like WrestleMania like 17. Like I've got like I'm up to 30. Like they did one the other week and it was 36.
Jesus, under like 3 hours long or something as well.
Mate, I mean the modern ones are like 6 hours long.
Couldn't deal with it, mate. Really couldn't.
Mate, it's just I get up in the morning and I just can't be arsed, so I end up just on the couch watching like fucking The Rock just chew everyone out for 3 hours solid. Do you know what I mean? Before I do anything, I'm like, oh shit, I'd best text Cristoph back. Like, here's me texting you this morning. It's like, you text me first thing this morning. It took me about 3 hours to reply because I was watching Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. Oh god, mate! I mean, the shit you get up to when you're in these situations, mate, it's mental. Like, yeah, I even jet washed me driveway for something to do the other week.
Nah, you'll not get me doing anything like that. Like, my car's just manky. Just leave it.
Mate, you'd be out there in a few days with just penises just drawn into the dust.
Probably off me as well.
Yeah, probably you. Yeah, exactly. No, exactly, mate. Exactly. Now, mate, we'll look. Best of luck for the rest of it, and I hope like you're doing well, mate. And yeah, we'll have to do this again in a few months when we're all back to normal, and you know, maybe we can even. No, amazing, mate. We can get in the same room and do it and that kind of thing, like so.
Yeah, no worries at all, pal.
Nah, amazing stuff. Well, yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and yes, we shall get back to you soon enough. We're actually doing a music theory masterclass tomorrow. Nice. On our side of things, yeah. So we're going into like melodies and circle of fifths and all that stuff. You know, that kind of good stuff, like.
Yeah.
So yeah, amazing stuff. So yeah, I'll see a lot of you tomorrow. But yeah, the rest of you, I'll see you all soon. Thanks, Chris. See you soon, mate.
Cheers, mate. See you soon, pal.
Bye, mate.